he's done this year. Down a straight line.
I was explaining to Pat, like, it's like, you're not going to get to Chris's level, because he's like the true cutler to my, you know, you're the Tony Romo to my Jim Nance. You know what I mean? It's just how the pairing works in the NFL.
That's it. It wouldn't be the same if Al Michaels didn't have Chris Collinsworth.
Exactly.
That's it. It wouldn't be the same. I love Chris Collinsworth.
Oh yeah, he's a dude. Yeah, we got sound on that too.
Wow. Oh my god.
Did you hear about Handshake? Yeah.
Was it no?
Apparently, like, Mayfield was like, oh, Baker didn't shake my hand, made a big fuss about it, and then there was like literal video evidence that he did. Shake his hand. It's like, okay, then.
Baker's broke. And that's why Mike's dropped him. Oh look, there's see, look, it's all about Carl Juszczyk. There he goes. Look, big block, huge block. Look at that bad boy. Look at him go. Oh,
shame he got injured.
Boom, yeah.
Only a few idea effect. Not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And Mendon always said he could make it.
Don't think this whole. Phil, credit to the guy. He's always managed to do well. But he is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No. It was pre-bit.
Well, like from Rashad Mendon.
I'm attacked, Jack! I'm attacked!
Bye-bye from Rashad Mendenhall, indeed, and hello to the co-host. The co-host is back, ladies and gentlemen.
And I tell you, you should feel very, very pleased about that. Not only because I'm back, and that you don't have to come and join Nathan on a Wednesday night and chat some shit, but I come 6,500 miles across the world for this.
Just for this, he's going back tomorrow.
That's right. That's it. I've decided. That's it. Because let's be honest, it is quite bleak here. Unless you're watching us from...
For more than one reason.
Listen, I love being here. It's my home, but where I've come from was something else. If you happen to live in Southern California, I mean, you have to say to yourself that you live in absolute paradise, apart from possibly, it had them having no rain and no water, and there's wildfires and earthquakes. But other than that, most of the year you don't live with the grey drizzle and shitty rain and cold that we live with here. So, congratulations to you.
And congratulations to you, Chris, because if the rest of the league does not know, Chris has now become engaged to his lovely fiancée.
I have.
So congrats to you both.
It's only been 9 years, so don't congratulate me too hard, because it's been quite a while and it's long overdue. But nevertheless, the news is as it is. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And if you're a randomer watching, which I know that we do have a few randomers now, and we're not going to call them randomers anymore. They are our welcomed guests. Welcomed guests. Welcome. That's it. If you so wish, so you can comment and
please do.
Ask us stuff, and we'll try and respond to you in the best way we can, because that's what we do here. That's what we're here for.
Sure is.
And there's absolutely no point, after the event asking us stuff, because the likelihood is that it's not quite as fun and we won't reply. So
probably.
Please do it now.
Indeed.
Anyway,
and while you get those questions in, we'll just cover off our own league's news. Highlights we start with, and I didn't update it on my little cue sheet in front of me, but we have now sold the last Wembley ticket.
Oh, there it is. Who did you sell it to?
Mike Taylor is coming to his
first
NFL game. So.
Oh, there you go. So he wants to go and see Tampa play?
Unfortunately, it's not the Tampa game.
Oh no! What game is it?
It's the Jags-Texans game.
To be fair, he's now well and truly involved in the league. Unlike some of you out there, and you should all be ashamed, he's actually been on the pod in his first 4 weeks of being in the league.
I think there is still. I mean, Ross has never been on the pod. Ollie Gardner's never been on the pod. Not to name and shame, just pointing out facts here.
Yeah, that's true.
Mike's been here pretty much a month when he made his appearance.
Yeah, you know when someone loves it when they do that.
Yeah, and we appreciate it. And you're going to have a great day at the game, Mike.
100%. You will.
So...
We'll look out for you. He's not making him dress up in some...
No, we don't have any Jags or Texans outfits.
Okay, so that's probably a good thing.
We did dress up as bears.
I did see that.
Probably saw.
That's it. They came back out again. That's it. Wheeling those out again.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have in hindsight, given the result, but there we go.
No.
So that's the highlight. No, the highlights. So key transactions. I went through. Initially, I was like, there's not really anything key. And then I double backed on it, and I thought, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Just because of subtext. So Kirk Cousins for Baker Mayfield, $15 by bucking the trend. Now this one I did on my double take. That's actually quite an interesting one for a couple of reasons, for 3 reasons that I picked out, and then you can tell me about the rest. Kirk Cousins, lol.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is last year was a recurring theme in the pod that it was Phil got fucked over by Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Mike's obviously quite likes being fucked over by quarterbacks because he's just dropped Baker Mayfield and now he's picked up Kirk Cousins. But I will say this in his defence, he does have Adam Thielen.
And he's got the Eagles this week, who are very tough on the run, not so much on the pass.
Tis true.
And yeah, speaking of Baker Mayfield, that's another high-profile player from the draft that's been dropped, and yeah, he's been awful.
He has.
In a word, we're watching him suck right now on the game replay. $15 is the last thing
There's Richard Sherman.
Yeah, there is, just picking off the ball. From guess who? $15 about this waiver move was the last interesting thing I paid out. Now, we've seen some crazy money, yourself included.
Absolutely.
On quarterbacks this year, which I don't think anyone would have predicted coming into the season.
No, not at all.
But on the scale of crazy money for quarterbacks, some people thought 37 was high for Prescott. I thought it was okay. He's been a bit dodgy the last couple of weeks, but he's more than earned it with the other performances.
Yeah, I needed him. I said
was it someone else spent a lot on a quarterback? I can't remember who, but that was a reasonably fine option too. $15.
$15, I think, especially when you've got a little bit of when you've been given a bit of waiver budget in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You're net 5 in comparison to everyone else. So I'm quite happy with that.
Okay.
And I think if you want your guy, and I don't think everyone else was going for Kirk Cousins, but if you want your guy, you must spend $15, and you haven't spent a great deal the rest of the year. I'm okay with that. And you know what? Sometimes things like this, we look back at the rest of the year and go, that was the turning point of the season. I can't see it now. It being Kirk Cousins and it being the way that he's been playing as well is pretty inconsistent too. But that's it. Someone's got to turn a corner, and they're a decent Simon, so they've got a decent offense. They're very run heavy, granted, but they should be, and certainly he should be for the money that he's being paid. Yeah. Playing a damn sight better. So maybe we'll see him turn the corner now.
And Pat said it. I don't know if he said it on the pod or in a conversation with me, but I think now that we've had the this waiver system for 2 years, people are kind of realising now if you want your guy, you just pay for it.
Absolutely.
And I've missed out on a lot of the season by not doing that. I've kind of learned that now as well. So there you go. The other one I picked up here, it's only one half a transaction. I just thought it was noteful. Drew Brees was dropped by Ixan. He's obviously been holding on to him since week 2. We are now entering week 6. He's posted videos of him throwing and stuff, so it's odd timing for me, this drop. Yeah. I don't know what roster situation Ben is in with bye weeks. I know he added him for a defense. I just thought it was...
I just think he probably takes the view that no one else will want to pick him up.
I don't know about that. I think you only need to look to the number 1 transaction on here to see there are a number of quarterback-needy teams in this league who will probably happily spend a chunk of money to get him and just wait for him to come back.
Yeah, which is quite possible. I think that bye weeks... through this period of time, I think that you have to get rid of people like that.
Sure.
But also, I think that it's important now to maybe allocate a slot in your bench for a player that
a flexi spot.
Yeah, exactly that you're quite happy to get rid of week on week, because people aren't going to be quite as they're going to be more reluctant, I suppose, to be able to pick people up and stash them these days than they ever used to be, because you can't really do it.
You got one less bench spot. It makes everything a lot harder.
So you can't stash a QB, you can't stash a tight end, another defense. And then if you stash a defense, then fine. That doesn't matter to me necessarily, because that is a position you're going to use week in, week out. If you're stashing a 4th receiver, then or a QB that's injured, that to me doesn't make much sense.
Sure. And then the final one I have on here, it's a small interesting one. So Deshaun Jackson was added for Christian Kirk for $5 by Bedenators. Deshaun Jackson obviously had that great first game, but then he went down injured, I think, early on in the second game and hasn't played since. Still not returned. I think from what I've seen is he won't play this week. But for $5, and once he comes back, Deshaun Jackson's a great player. So
I agree.
I just thought it was a good ad.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Jackson is one of those that can, he's obviously very boom or bust. Well, he's got one of those already in Will Fuller. You know, he's obviously not. He's prepared to play hot hand with that. I think that Deshaun Jackson and Wentz are playing well together, especially when he's fit. So yeah, I think for value that could well be good in certain weeks, but not all.
Sure. And then finally the trade block. So Aaron Rodgers still on the trade block for the Detonators, and Gridiron Gang, the entire team is available. Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Freeman, Philip Lindsay, Devin Singletary, DJ Moore, and Brandon Cooks, and Marcus Valdes-Scantling.
So I will add that. I'm going to put Damian Williams on
there.
The,
you go.
I'll
make well, we may need to chat after this.
Okay,
podcast.
You're welcome.
Damian Williams is on the trade block. You heard it here first. And that is your news, so we will go straight to the week recaps, which we will find on the screen. So last week, it was not only a Stubbs Bowl, but a Tottenham Bowl to boot.
First one ever.
The first Tottenham Bowl ever.
It seems quite apt that the Stubbs Bowl should be the first Tottenham Bowl.
So here we go, Gridiron Gang against Bare Necessities. Gridiron Gang and Bare Necessities fought it out in the Stubbs/Tottenham Bowl. The game did not live up to the lofty, pedestal, I guess you could say, but unsurprising given Gridiron Gang's 1-3 start of the season. They lost this one, 135-79. Bare Necessities moves to 4-1. The record of this game now moves to, where is Gridiron Gang at the top there? 12-6 in favour of Bare Necessities, so that is becoming a bit of a one-sided matchup. Looking down, Deshaun Watson exploded for 52 points. Allen Robinson dropped 22 points in front of Coach Stubbs Sr.'s eyes
I bet he was loving
at
that.
the game. Lockett got 10. Julian Edelman scorched the Washington Redskins for 17, while Tucker got 14. On Gridiron Gang side of the ball, not a great deal to speak of. Brady did Brady things, getting 30 points. Freeman got 13, Zerline 11, but really not a lot else there.
Oh. Wow. No, you're right. Look, I think Dave's team has been bubbling under the surface for the last few weeks. Something like this was bound to happen, especially Watson, and especially against Atlanta, who have been absolutely bleeding yards. So it doesn't surprise me in any sort of way, especially with his dual threat. You're not going to get 5 touchdowns a week, but let's be honest, the kind of player that Deshaun Watson is, he can go off and do that at any given moment.
I saw a statistic about Atlanta's defense earlier today. They are having a historically bad season against quarterbacks. They're generating the highest quarterback rating for an opposing quarterback ever, except for this year's Miami Dolphins.
Well, there you go. Which doesn't surprise me. I think the top ranked college teams will probably beat this year's Miami Dolphins. So.
Probably.
So yeah, look, that there is obviously a cornerstone of the win. But we mustn't forget that there are some guys here that that you'd expect a little bit more of some weeks, and some guys who take a back seat. Like the guys like Edelman, who you don't see every week doing it. But again, the Redskins' defense is awful as well.
He's been quiet the last few weeks.
Yeah,
so this was due.
But it doesn't surprise me at all that Edelman now really is the number one receiver on that team. I know Ben Watson's come back in and he's a target in the red zone. He's cut. No way. Cut. That's it. Well, he realised that he was too old, and that's it.
I don't know what it was, but yeah.
I thought he came back. That's it. Well, there you go. I didn't last long. That's a 1 week wonder.
They didn't even play.
Didn't even week. Oh, well, say no more. Well, Edelman's definitely the number one receiver by distance these days, and I think that you're going to see a bit more of an uptake there. That sort of performance is something that we should be expecting from him. Same as Allen Robinson. Really, I think that he's certainly improved in the States. Yes, he's playing Oakland. Yes, he's playing in London, and in London things happen in London, but again, he's been very consistent this year.
Did it with Chase Daniel too?
That's it. Yeah, right. Well, and I think he's more likely to do that with him.
Yes,
as with Trubisky.
Yeah. Reasons.
Yes. Trubisky runs around like hasn't got much of an arm. Look, and then you've got the peripheral figures there. The Chubbs and the Kelseys, who, let's be honest, with better days would see that go through the roof, and Lockett does what he does with Russell Wilson being in such good form right now. The best kicker in football, and who cares about the D? On your side of the board, Brady is doing Brady things, and you expect him to do that. You expect him to throw touchdowns and do that sort of thing. Freeman, flash in the pan for the week, but if it's some things to come. Everybody else, a little bit, you're obviously lacking the touchdowns that the other side have. And that's the difference, really. It's a shame that, the Bucks D didn't play very well, but you played New Orleans, and you sort of know what you're expecting.
Well, you say that. I looked, on the way up to the game, me and Tom were looking at defences for Tom, and I was telling him about, originally I had the Panthers in, granted they only had, I think 11 by the end of the game, so nothing would have substantially changed this one, but the Bucks D had been really good. I think they were the third highest scoring defense in our league scoring entering this game, and I looked at the Saints, the points they... If you look to the defenses the Saints played in the week they played them, what points they get, all of them since Bridgewater has been in had been double digits. And obviously the Buccaneers just came with a great game against the Rams, and I saw they had the Panthers next week, so I was like, oh, that makes sense, okay. And it blew up in my face.
That's it. Second week in a row. That's it,
yeah. Colts.
The Colts done it, and then the Bucks done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks turn into a very entertaining team, but I think one for fantasy purposes is they're going to be one that of either absolute elation or sheer disappointment, which we're going to see later on with other folks. So, 79 points is obviously not amazingly good, but look, Dave's got the touchdowns, and he didn't play Matt Braylor, and you didn't play Philip Lindsay, but why would you?
Yeah.
And you didn't play Juju, why would you?
Yeah.
So there's improvement to be made on both sides, but I think the Ben Necessities, particularly over the last few weeks, has been threatening to have a performance like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think that this is certainly his best team in years.
Yeah, that's fair. And it shows that with a 4-game win streak. Our next game then is the Dream Team against Pakistan. Play.
Please play.
The Dream Team took on Pakistan in what might end up being the Losers Bowl for the Southampton division. Both these teams were 1-3 entering this game, and as you can imagine, it was a bit of a sloppy game, 77-61 in favour of the Dream Team. Looking down the lineups, Carson Wentz only got 14, but Mixon, Elliott and Mason Crosby all went over 10 points to bring home the win. On Pakistan's side of the ball, early season favoured stream candidate in Jacoby Brissett, who many thought would have to be throwing it like no one's business to keep up with Kansas City, only got 11 points. Jordan Howard, which was a great pickup, only got 12, and he led the team on points. No one else went into double digits. History of this matchup, Pakistan are now 1-5 all-time against the Dream Team.
Now, this is the thing. Pat suffers from having many players that play on bad teams. And also not really having a clear number one receiver. You look at that, Harbin, Samuel and Geronimo Allison, between the three of them, they're not going to get those premier targets that they've got, that other teams have got.
We'll give him a bit of a buy in the sense that he did literally just trade for Devontae Adams, only for Devontae Adams to get turf toe in his first game for Pakistan.
Yeah, that's awful.
But you give up 3 players, that's the risk.
That's what you get. Absolutely. Jordan Howard, as you say, decent pickup, and Le'Veon Bell's in a rubbish team. So, when you're running back in a rubbish team that doesn't score touchdowns and is always behind, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Brissett, whether they like it or not, Indy's very run heavy now. That's it. When T.Y. Hilton's out, they don't go to Ebron for touchdowns. They don't go.
I think he's been very steady. You're right. He's not exploded. You looked at that. He went over 20 points in every single game up to this one.
Right.
Through for at least 2 touchdowns.
He's got dual threat a bit as well, which I sort of get. But yeah, I mean that game particularly was a defensive masterclass by Kansas City.
Yeah.
By the Colts. They really did hem the Chiefs in for much of that game. And you can see, and you'd expect that's why Harbin's there, that's why Butker's there. Titans did an okay, but not great against the Bills. Yeah. And you look on the other side, it's not particularly overwhelming either. It's in 77, so we just said that your team was pretty underwhelming. Well, it would have beaten this. I think when you got Wentz in a 31-point win, only getting 14 points. Playing Frank Gore against a tough Tennessee team. Playing Mixon against Arizona, but they're in a terrible situation as well in Cincinnati. Ertz gets his touchdown, fantastic. Diggs in Minnesota suffering from a rubbish offense again, or certainly an underwhelming offense that's not really working very well. Elliott does what he does, but that's what you get for picking him where he is. And the Browns have been a bit of a disappointment all round, offensively and defensively. Browns are a great defensive unit, but unfortunately being let down by the fact they're on the field. And both teams, you look at the bench, and I think that Pat picked up the right players this week, just didn't play them sadly. And
I kind of get the Micah Gallup one, first game back from injury.
I sort of get it.
I was quite surprised he dropped him, actually. I didn't even realise.
I did. Well, I had no choice.
Yeah, you needed the spot.
I needed the spot, but it's in hindsight, yes, it would have been nice. But look, would you play Michael Gallup in a thriving Dallas offense rather than John Allison, where Rodgers is having trouble finding receivers? He's very Aaron Jones heavy these days. Certainly over Curtis Samuel against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think that's the one you'd look at.
And Hardman's worth a swing.
It wouldn't have made the difference entirely. He'd have needed to play Josh Allen.
He would have played Josh Allen as well, which he's been going with the last few weeks. And
against the Titans,
it's difficult, but Josh Allen runs.
Yeah, he's got that stable.
Josh Allen runs, and you'll always pick up points there. But look, Pat's team doesn't excite me in any way, whether it be the bench. The dream team definitely doesn't excite me because they've got no depth. So
pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly that. And as picking a poison, well, let's go on to the next one.
Yeah, okay,
this is a joke.
Bucking the trend against the Tugboats. I don't even need to preview this game now because bucking the trend against the Tugboats is a joke in the words of Forge Fires. But I will, just for sanity's sake. So, the Tugboats lost their first game of the season last week. They got back to winning ways, if you can call it that, in what is a classic #Gypsy win, 68-61. I don't really know if there's going to be much I can highlight here. Mahomes got 20. Ingram got 10, and the Patriots got 18. There is nothing else on the Tugboats side of the ball. For bucking the trend, it's really a similar story. Kamara and Thielen combined for 35. Metcalf got 10 as well, and the Saints D got 10. Mayfield finished on -2 points. So make of that what you will.
Now, I'm not sure what would have been a bit more frustrating, whether or not it is frustrating that Phil's won this game, right? Because he definitely doesn't deserve it.
No.
Absolutely, he's hitching his caravan up this time, right? This is the gypsiest of gypsy wins this year. I don't want to go on about it, but the fact is that if Mahomes doesn't play well, the absolutely absurd Patriots defense, which just keeps on trucking.
You want to start? I think I dropped it last week. You may have listened. They're on pace to score more than Todd Gurley did last year.
It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Yeah, and he can still carry a player and win. 68 points is grim. Right, and this is from a team that we thought at the beginning of the year would be absolutely fine. Chugging away in the league. And if it turns out that he does end up winning the league, that's it. Which
it'll be like, do you remember Ben's end to the title season? From week 10 onwards? I think he didn't face a team that scored 80 points or more, or something ridiculous like
that's right. Granted, you got to play what's in front of you, but pretty much anybody else would have beaten this, including the two underwhelming teams that we've just looked at, and yours. The thing is with Mike's team is that really it was.
It's pretty barren.
Yeah, it's it.
Getting Gordon back was huge, but
100%.
Unless he gets that quarterback situation sorted out, it's not going to matter really.
Totally right, and that's what's costing me, because even 10 points,
he had Daniel Jones on the bench, which would have given him the win, which must sting. Granted, he's playing Minnesota, but. Other than that one game, we've not seen anything.
Baker against San Francisco is just a tricky matchup, and I say if I was here last week, I would have absolutely said that, because San Francisco absolutely look like the real deal. They really do. They've got everything.
Great defense.
Everything. They've got great defense, great offense. That's it. Baker's going across in bad form across the country. That's it. It was not obvious what was going to happen, but it was predictable what was going to happen there. So you also look at that and you go, well, I'm glad that Kamara's chipping in. That's it. No touchdowns. That's good for him. That's good there. Finally, Adam Thielen's worth his draft pick. DK Metcalf. That was a massive one.
Yeah, one play
catch touchdown. But
I played him the week before, and I said on the podcast last week, he was on my team. My team's definitely not a team you're going to want to be picking a cast off from, and he was in the starting lineup for Mike last week.
Exactly that. Yeah, but Saints D again. So look, he's got the components there for what should have been a fairly comfortable win over what was a rubbish performance from Phil's team. What worries me from Phil's team is that if Mahomes doesn't play well or score 30 points, 40 points, and either one of his just go down again. I think he's got Ingram, but that's it. I think running back wise, he hasn't got another one. That's it. He's got very streaky receivers in fairly average teams. You've got Keenan Allen is a quality receiver, but in the Chargers aren't the Chargers of last year. Fitzgerald doesn't get the volume.
Old as well.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. He's not running those same routes anymore. And Kyler Murray's not that type of QB. He's not going to go.
No.
He's more likely to run it himself. He's more likely to go, to the Christian, more like the Christian Kirks of this world, who, he's more of a deep threat than Larry is. Landry's in a pickle because Baker's playing so badly. Oh, not much time to restart.
Please don't do that.
Don't wait an hour. Playing Greg Olsen, whether you like it or not, he might be Cam's favourite target, but he's
he had that one good game against Arizona,
which all tight ends do.
And there's nothing else they can turn to. They're going to get Barkley back at some point. It's not this week, and obviously Mahomes is probably fairly struggling a bit without Hill there, but he's also a bit injured himself.
Yeah, absolutely,
it's worrying times.
I totally agree. I see it, and I think this is a very, very, very cheap win, and it's a damn shame that it was because. I think if we said it, exactly that. Any other team would have been punished.
Yeah,
he just picked the right week against the right team.
Yeah. Now we actually can review some good games for you. Starting with Ixan versus Tom's Tyrants. Ixan took on Tom's Tyrants in week 5 with both teams looking to keep pace in the Portsmouth division as both were coming off wins in this one. Tom's Tyrants would take this one though, 129-94. Looking down the lineups, Kyler Murray finally got into Tom's Tyrants lineup. You're welcome. 25 points. Leonard Fournette got 20 as well. Carson got 18, and Chris Godwin back on the map with 25. Great pick at D as well. You're welcome with 26. Ixan, meanwhile. So let's start with the good. There's a lot of good actually. About 5 players here got around 15 points in Gurley, Cook, Kittle, Ridley, and Henry. But the bad, Rivers only got 4. That really did sting there. In the history of this matchup is now 8-7 in favour of Tom's Tyrants. I say you're welcome because
you did predict that.
I said Tom, change your entire team and I will pick you to win. But in the car on the way up, I said you should definitely be starting Murray, and I helped him pick the 49ers defense.
That's a damn shame because I was going to pick that. Look, I think is it showing potential of what Tom initially drafted? Sure, I think it is. I think Kyler Murray. They won't play Cincinnati's D every week, but that's the sort of thing. And you look in that. There's 93 rushing yards in there. That makes a hell of a difference.
Sure does. Sure.
Plus the touchdown, of course. So that's the sort of thing you expect. I think when you look at it on paper, if Fournette and Carson and Eckler as a 3-man running back trio, that is formidable.
I think Eckler had something ridiculous, like 15 catches in that game.
That's it. Been in a PPR league. But
monster.
Yeah, for sure. But look, he's started the season off well. I think that Melvin Gordon coming back will obviously affect him in the long run, but not right now.
Gordon didn't look great though, did he? First came back, I know.
Exactly, yeah. So he shouldn't look good. So if he came back and looked amazing to start with, I think that people would say, where has he been?
Yeah.
Chris Godwin, I think, is up there for one of the best pickups of the year.
Which as well, because Tom said he didn't want to take him in the first round. He was kind of forced into it just to the absence of someone else. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, that's it. So sometimes you have those lucky coincidences, and obviously the 49ers did against Cleveland. If Baker was predictably bad, then we're just about to see them recover the ball. There you go, look.
Timely.
There you go, that's it. There we go, fumble recovery. I think that the 49ers did one of those sneaky ones across the course of the year that will gain you points.
Yeah, they've been pretty good to start the year.
So I think it's a good pickup. On Ben's side, look, he wasn't going to win this game by any means, but I do love the consistency again. The Gurley, Cook, Kittle, Ridley, Henry, they're always going to keep you churning.
Yeah.
Yes, Phillip Rivers isn't the same guy as last year.
No.
I think if Ben's looking to find a QB, maybe
he historically struggles against Denver as well. So I get Denver's not the same defense this year, but they're a divisional rival. They do know each other quite well, so
he's lost his targets as well. Yeah. So Hunter Henry's gone down. Mike Williams hasn't been the guy. Tyrell Williams is gone, and Keenan Allen is probably the only guy but he's in double coverage all the time. So you know, you can see why Rivers is struggling, and because he doesn't have that floor, he doesn't run around a lot. Doesn't, you know, for fantasy purposes, he's really touchdown or bust, and this time he was bust. With 2 picks. Sure. If I was Ben, I see Aaron Rodgers going. On the trading block for Ollie, and I think that he's got some guys on there that you can definitely
he's definitely got some players.
I'm surprised that Ben being how he is, isn't trying to wheeler and dealer for Aaron Rodgers. I will admit, because that team's crying out for that's really the only difference.
Yeah.
I know Breeze is gone, but putting Rodgers back in there, he's going to score you 15 points every week, and that's all he really needs.
Yeah. So. And we're going to review the home of Aaron Rodgers right now because he does actually play for the Detonators, who played a lot of points this week. Or more aptly, should I say, they played a lot of points last week, or not so a lot of points last week, because they played the Detonators, who got 170-96 in the Ollie Bowl. Which drops Ollie Gardner's win-loss streak to 2 lost games in a row. Tremendous day by Ollie Burdett. Really, to start the season, it's been all about Lamar Jackson, but this week it was all about everyone else. David Johnson got 16, Aaron Jones got 42, Will Fuller got 40, and the Eagles D got 42. On the other side of the ball, a lot of points only had one player go above 30 points. Pathetic. And that was Russell Wilson with 38. Cooper Kupp did get 17 though. Vikings got 16. And it was a decent day for Ollie Gardner. But yeah, you're never going to win when you come up against that. Ollie Burdett's record now against Ollie Gardner is 2-3.
Yep, absolutely right. There's some freakish performances in there. Aaron Jones's performances... I think it was
crazy watching that game.
Yeah, right. In commentary, it was the Packers have only had like 4 guys that have ever scored 4 touchdowns in a game, and they haven't done it for 30 years.
Yeah.
So that you can't really predict, but they are going that way, and I think it's great that from Ollie's perspective that you see guys now that are breaking into. Look, Will Fuller won't do that every week, because he's that. You play against Atlanta, and it's just going to happen that way. So they as we were talking about earlier, bleed yards.
Yeah, you'd think they could spread the ball around. Hopkins, hasn't had a great start. You thought, he'd get some love too. No, it went to Will Fuller.
Yes, it's like playing Madden. Just
I'll throw it at him every time I'm in
straight.
And apparently, I read as well that he got tackled at the 1 twice, and he would have had 2 extra touchdowns on top of that because he didn't then score after that.
And to score 170 points whilst carrying a player.
0 points for Samuel Watkins.
It's almost unheralded, I would say. And look, if we look at the bench, see how different could it have been? Not massively different.
No.
So, say no more. But I said, I will say this: Ollie's team, he might have been blown out of the water this week, but he still scored 95. And 95 in this week was a very good score.
It would have beaten more than half the league
in the first half of this. So guys like Shady will have better weeks. He will have better weeks because Indy did very well to stifle everything that happened. But I will say that the premier receivers, as it were, on his team, we expect more from. Julio hasn't looked.
He had a hot start. Last couple of games have been a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, a little bit shaky. Odell particularly. I think the hype sort of got to Cleveland slightly.
Yeah, a little bit.
But there are components in there which I like. But Burdett is coming on strong, and again at the right time of the year. Albeit, I will say that Will Fuller will either do that or score nothing,
which has been the case so far. Both these teams 2-3 now. Our final game then last week. We left you to last, Chris. Forge Flyers against the Todd Father. Forge Flyers took on the Todd Father, looking to extend their lead in the over roster in the division and keep up with bare necessities. They weren't able to do it though, as the Todd Father pegged them back 146-118. Matt Ryan went for 38 points, Michael Thomas went for 30, and Josh Jacobs only seems to run well against vaunted defenders. He got 26. Meanwhile, Amari Cooper got 28. On Forge Flyers' side, Dak Prescott had a good game in the end with 27. Christian McCaffrey exploded for 42. Marlon Mack went for 15, and the Bills D went for 15. Two high-scoring teams, but Ross just took it in the end. The history of this matchup, all time. Let's find you, Chris. I think you're up here somewhere. Forge Flyers are now 5-3 all time against Ross.
Yeah, and for a while it was looking like it was possible, and then very quickly it didn't. I think we all expected the KC Colts game to be a little bit more high scoring than it was, or it was certainly more free flowing than it was. It helped for me because Marlon Mack was running a lot, didn't score a touchdown or nothing, very close but not quite. And you just expect a little bit more from Hilton there. Prescott had an up and down game, but at least it was exciting. Christian McCaffrey's a stud. Otherwise, nothing particularly interesting to write home about.
Both teams, interestingly, here kind of suffered from the same problem. You had absolutely explosive performances from a few players, and then really nothing else behind.
No, that's right. And I think for me is I feel a little bit gutted because again it's a
good week. When you get a score of 118, especially now we've dropped down a roster spot, you're like, oh, win in the bag.
Yeah, 100%. And then you see on the other side that you've got guys doing freakish things. Yes, Matt Ryan's in a shootout against Houston, but who would have predicted that against that D where it is? Mike Thomas against Tampa again, 30 points. It's a lot. Josh Jacobs against Chicago. I mean, if it was played in the US, it wouldn't have been that way, but it's here and it's on a grand scale, and London's a real leveler, so it doesn't surprise me that he went for that. And Amari Cooper benefited massively from what Dak was doing.
Yeah, playing catch up.
Absolutely. So I think that we've certainly found Ross's ceiling there. I don't think that they can ever score any higher than that. I'm happy to be proved wrong there, but I think that he should take that result, walk away, and be very happy with it.
He's had a bit of a roster transformation.
Yeah,
got rid of Devontae Adams, who didn't have a great start. Had that one good game, then obviously got injured, which was after the trade had happened. Picked up Michelle, who's looking better. Miles Sanders, who granted has gone the other way, but Robert Woods as well. He had a good game, didn't quite fire today, but he will have better games. So really, it looks like a good trade.
It's absolutely you play the roulette with the Rams receivers every week. It's going to be one of them. And this week it was Cup. It could be Woods one week. And I think they just got to come up lucky. But when you've got components around that that can do that sort of thing and are first round, second round, third round picks. So you can thank the auto draft for that at the end of the year. But at the end of the day, it's worked out well for him. And that Ross doesn't need an awful lot of maintenance, which I think is good for Ross.
That bodes well for a coach down team, certainly. So we'll look at the milestone standing and stats now. No power rankings as yet. Tom likes to conveniently get them out after we've done the podcast without fail every week, but that's okay. Just go and read them when they're out. So our milestones, we like round numbers on here. Let's see if we can find any round-ish numbers anyway.
There's a 50th.
You didn't win this. Oh, you did get your 75th loss. That's kind of a roundish number.
I'm gonna put it out here now. So this season I'm attempting to get to a 0.5.
I attempted that a while ago, and
I'm going for it. I'm going to get to the end of the season and go, I needn't have bothered for the last 10 years.
Otherwise known as an Ollie Gardner.
Indeed.
But no regular season stats there. No nice round ones anyway. And looking at the career stats, Ben lost as well. I'm not seeing any nice round numbers this week.
It's a damn shame.
Oh well, we'll just go to the standings and stats then. So Southampton division. Tuckfards is still leading that and getting a win again. They have extended their streak to 2 wins, or back to 2 wins, I should say, with the Dream Team and Bucking the Trend both at 2 and 3 behind him, and Patterson at 1 and 4. Portsmouth division, it's a tight affair currently. Ixan leading on points, 3 and 2, with Tom's Tyrants hot on their heels after losing to them. But Ednators and Elliot a lot of point of weeks at 2 and 3 respectively after Ollie beat Ollie Gardner. And finally, Winchester division, Bare Necessities takes supremacy there with Forge Fly's loss. Bare Necessities 4 and 1, Forge Fly's 3 and 2, as is the Todd Father after they beat Chris. Meanwhile, Gridiron Gang languishing at 1 and 4. Let's take a look at the points forward and points against. We like to touch on that.
Yes.
Todd Fards early in the season, obviously, you pointed out, Chris, that they had conceded the lowest, and they still have only second to Mike. But that's very close. They're the only teams under 400 points conceded.
Only Mike had a better team.
Indeed. But points forward, the difference is about 200 between those two.
Yeah.
So quite the difference. But I believe Phil is just about the highest scorer.
Fair play to
No,
Ben.
you are the highest scorer, Chris.
I can't. But since when was that?
You have pipped him by about 0.3 of a point.
All I can say to that is there hasn't been that many times.
And
in
you have
history.
been absolutely pumped, as you like to say.
Absolutely pumped.
Much like a lot of points this week, a lot of points every week against you is the case. 533 points against.
Ouch.
And Ixan 534 as well. But
Fair play to Ben.
Yeah,
I have to say that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. So
yes, we must stress this is that points against makes a hell of a difference.
it does.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I say to these things that things average out across the course of the year. Largely they do, but there is one or two teams every year that has either a massive amount of points scored, as Phil will tell me, when he wakes up in a minute. It was him last year, and there are some teams that get very lucky and have very little points scored games. Like for example, I think you look at Dave, he's got a very high points scored for. But very
one of the lower points,
points
and then
against,
that's a great catechism actually, because you can just look at the same opposite end of the division there. Like, great, my team hasn't scored well, I know, but I have had one of the highest points conceded against. We've seen just in the last week, my points weren't great. I still would have beaten at least 3 or 4 teams.
Absolutely.
But it didn't fall that way. That's just how it goes. No point moaning and groaning. Breakdown. So after a hot start, Tuckpards really have tailed off. 11-9 in the first 3 weeks. 5 and 6, 2 and 9 respectively in the last 2. They have lost ground to bare necessities, who are now only 1 win behind them in the breakdown. You're only 2 win behind Chris, as is Ben. And then it drops off a bit to the middle of the pack, it's fair to say. You've got the guys kind of up above and just below 100, and then you drop to the bottom third here, Gridiron Gang. Bucking the trend and Pakistan, probably where they deserve to be. Pat's still yet to win 10 games on this breakdown. But here's 1 and 4. Mike is 2 and 3. 2 back-to-back on 11 weeks. Not ideal.
Not ideal.
And,
not ideal.
Yeah, 1936. Then
very close, though. Very close to being 1.
True. The coach score, Benassisti is still top. Again, that's probably more a lack of depth, I would say. Same for the Dream Team. Those two are really ahead of the other two. 23 and 31 points left on the bench through 5 weeks. That's quite good. Ross is doing pretty good as well, but left 28 in the wake of that trade. Not surprising. He actually has some depth now. You're doing a pretty good job, Chris, maximising your team there. At number 4 with 65. And then there's a few behind you. Ben at 71. Bucking the trend 74. Tuckpads 85. And then you get to kind of the sections where it's like, you have some points left over.
Dear.
Pakistan and Gridiron Gang spring to mind. Okay, those points definitely wouldn't have cured everything that ails, but it doesn't help. But Adnators, they've had an interesting start. They had a great week last week, obviously, but they have been leaving points on the 100%. Bench. And then Ollie Gardner and Tom's Tyrants as well, certainly leaving wins on the bench.
Yeah, a lot of points left on the bench as well.
Yeah. Oh, can you keep this name? It just works so well for all your statistics. And then we get to the true bare necessities. I think Fairley has now claimed the top spot on the true power rankings. Tuckford still at second, but they are falling, I think it's fair to say.
I think so after last week.
Yeah. Chris, you are third, or tied second according to this. Again, I think that's quite deserved. Ross still fourth. Ross has been high in this metric all season long, mainly due to his 2-0 start. And I don't think you can argue with it right now. Ixam fifth. Perhaps they are punching a little bit. But Adelaide is sixth. Dream Team seventh. They are 2 and 3 now, I believe, after beating Pakistan. And there's a few surprising teams down here. Tom's Tyrants, you wouldn't necessarily think is certainly coming off that week. And Ollie Gardner's team, again, not the best, but perhaps better than that. But that is what it is. And the 3 you expect at the bottom. So there's your milestone standing and stats. So we will go to the week previews now. And to do that, indeed. And we need to find a marquee matchup. I'm going to put a veto on me. Not that it probably is going to be me this week, because it has been me for the last 3 weeks, very undeservedly, only based on historical reasons.
Yeah, I think that's probably wise.
But I don't think, Gridiron Gang Top isn't a particularly juicy one anyway.
I think Ben Necessity's Tom's Tyrants has pretty big implications for the league.
Yes, let's go with that then. So, marquee matchup for week 6 is Ben Necessity's against Tom's Tyrants. Convenient we're watching Monday Night
Football. It's Wednesday.
Ben Necessities take on Tom's Tyrants in this week's marquee matchup. These two have a combined win streak of 6 games between them. Division leading Ben Necessities at 4-1 and chasing Tom's Tyrants at 3-2. Projections currently narrowly have this at 96 to 95 in favour of Tom's Tyrants. It's actually nice to see Tom having a starting lineup for this segment for once. Looking down the lineups, Ben Necessities has brought Matt Brader in for Alan Robinson, who is on a bye. Other than that, I think they're unchanged, so they are going with a 21 personnel this week, 2 running backs, tight end, and 2 receivers. Tom's Tyrants, at the moment, I imagine they're unchanged as well. Oh no, DJ Chark is coming to the lineup, for Alshon and Jeffrey, and they are fielding a 30 personnel this week, 3 running backs, 2 receivers. History of this matchup. All-time, Ben Necessities are 5-5 against Tom's Tyrants. Split down the middle. This is a good one, folks.
A fitting marquee matchup,
I would agree.
Right, so let's try and break this down. So, again, we look at the key element of both teams, and I think that QB's been a bit of a problem for Tom across the course of the year. It certainly hasn't been a problem for Dave. But we look at it this week, and oh my, both of them must be rubbing their hands together again.
He's got Jameis, but I think he'd stick with Kyler.
I think with the matchup being as it is, I think Kyler against Atlanta, he's gonna be roaming free. That's it with the rest of those Cardinals, and I think Deshaun Watson, that Texans Chiefs game.
There's a bit of doubt here because teams travelling to Arrowhead don't typically play as well. I don't know if it's about the environment because the defense isn't anything particularly special, but we saw it with Brissett last week. Teams do struggle when they go to Harrod.
The game script there was just so different, and I think that the way that Watson's playing right now, I think he's going to have no option. I mean, it's going to be absolute gunslinger between him and Mahomes. It's going to be just a proper shootout. In the Midwest. There's no other way you can really say it's going to be. I can just see this now as that it's forget running games here. Forget running games. See, because Mahomes is going to fire, Watson's going to fire, Mahomes is going to fire. It's going to be absolutely going to all records could be broken. We saw this last year when a similar sort of thing happened with the Rams and the Chiefs. And it could have been a very, very different story, but it wasn't. And it was very high scoring, and I'm so looking forward to that. On the other side, we look at the running backs that they've got too, and I think that here you can sort of relate. Brader has been in great form.
Yeah.
Coming out of nowhere, but he is that he is that guy. I know Coleman's there, I know Jeff Wilson's there, but who cares? Brader's the guy who's got big
in the game we're watching now, it was now that Coleman's back, it was definitely a firm split between Coleman and Brader.
That's right, and I think you see that with a lot of teams now. Coleman's the guy who takes the passing downs more, I think, and Brader's the guy who they look to for big plays.
You said it. I think the interesting thing with Brader is they don't use him in the red zone.
No.
He scored 3 touchdowns in this game. I think nearly all of them came from a play outside outside the goal line.
And for fantasy purposes, that's exactly what you're looking for. So, and it's a similar thing with Chubb. I mean, Chubb's been in great form, especially playing at home. I think playing in Seattle away would be a slightly different story, but I think playing him in Cleveland is where he wants to be. And I think Fournette and Carson, particularly Carson, over the last couple of weeks has really shown why he's been picked up there. Fournette, I think for me, needs a little bit more. I need to see a bit more consistency.
It's a volume play still, I think.
But absolutely right. And I say there's no one else there that's going to get the similar sort of thing. And in New Orleans, I say yes. Playing New Orleans it's tough, but again in Jacksonville you've got half a chance there. So I think they could well see each other out. Similar sort of thing with Goblin against Carolina. That in theory is a tough matchup, but Mike Evans is still there. Yes, when they're playing in London again, great leveler, great form. So I think that he's going to do okay. Mm-hmm. And Kelsey for the same reasons. So we're going to see Watson go off, and I think that for all that Mahomes goes off for, Sam Watkins is now gone. again.
On paper, this is a very even match.
That's right, and Kelsey's going to pick up the slack. That's it. Who else have they really got to throw to?
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially red zone targets. So, do I think here, especially the D's are playing each other too?
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to be tight? I do. Do I think that Dave has enough to win? I definitely do.
Okay. Because
I think that it could well come down to the QB and the QB only, and I think that Watson will outscore Murray.
Okay.
And the receivers do have similar sort of matchups in similar sort of places.
Sure.
No one's got there's one Thursday night game in Edelman against the Giants, but I'm not fussed about that. So
Edelman will be fine.
I think he'd be fine there. So, but I'm taking Dave here. I do think that I think he's going to have just about enough to get over the line. Albeit, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a very high scoring, tight affair.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tom's Tyrants. Look, every matchup there for me is a push. I see pretty much each player equally on par with each other. The only bit I get a bit differential on is the bottom bit. In fact, the defenses. I think the Niners. It's a defense off. In fact, because it's the Niners and the Rams. My dad has the Rams D. Tom has the Niners D. LA Rams have not been the same prolific offense they were. Niners are a good defense. And the Rams D hasn't.
Jared Goff's an absolute pick machine this year as well.
Yeah. So I think the Niners could prove the key in this game for Tom's Tyrants. Our next game then, we have the Toddfather against the Detonators. Oh no, we don't want a news jingle.
No,
Stop.
We've already done the news.
Come on, there we go. Let's get some classic football in here. The Toddfather takes on the Detonators. Both teams coming off of a win after coming off of a loss. One of them's got to alternate, unless they go for another tie, in Ross's case. 96 to 83 is the current projection in favour of the Detonators. Looking down the lineups, Ross's team currently unchanged. He has a player on a bye, so we won't read too much into that. And the Detonators, they are currently unchanged as well, I believe. So, the Detonators going with 20 personnel, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and Ross, pending change, he's fielding 10 personnel, 1 running back, 4 receivers. History of this matchup, the Detonators are 4-3 all time against Ross.
Well, it's the same sort of story again, really. But I think that this is the key thing, is that, we talked about QBs in the last matchup, same sort of thing again. I think Ryan against Arizona is feeding time, but Jackson at home against Cincinnati, it really is a picnic.
Yeah.
David Johnson against Atlanta, picnic.
He might not play though, so his back's used up during the game. Ollie has added Chase Edmonds though.
Whoever it is, picnic. Aaron Jones against Detroit, plenty of volume. Fuller against KC for the
good run D though.
That's it. Yeah, but
good D in general.
That's it. So were the Cowboys supposedly. Look about that. Fuller against KC, exactly the same reasons we talked about in the last one. So I think that Watson will feed, and as a result, Fuller will pull too. Hollywood Brown again, same really. Got Jackson. So
yeah, he's a bit banged up too. I'm not sure it's a hamstring for him.
I think if there's one game where he's in,
and Watkins,
one game where you could definitely come out, and Watkins is certainly banged up. So let's go to the benches on Ollie's team and see what he's got there. So he's picked up Deshaun.
He's not going to play.
Not going to play.
Mike Williams, he's banged up too.
That's it.
Could be dodgy ground for the Detonators.
We might see someone else pick up. So I think that after that, as you say, I think Hollywood Brown will play, but Watkins, possibly not. And Chargers against Pittsburgh. Well, Chargers haven't been great on D this year, but if there's one playing against Mason Rudolph, it's going to.
Well, it might not even be Mason Rudolph after the nasty.
Well, actually, that's true. Yes.
I can't even remember the guy that
that's it.
Potentially.
The third string. If you know who it is, let us know. We probably should. We don't.
Delvin Hodges, I want to say, an absolute. I'll Google that while you move to the Toddfather.
Well, we look on the Toddfather. You got Sanders against Tennessee. We'll go from the bottom here because it's a bit more interesting. Ravens against Cincinnati.
Look, I nailed it.
Oh yeah,
Delvin Hodges.
Delvin Hodges. I hope he does well. He probably won't, but I hope he does well. He did okay when he came in, to be fair, on the weekend, but I wouldn't pick him up and start him unless I didn't have a QB. So
Maybe Mike should start.
Maybe he should. That's it. Maybe he shouldn't have paid $15 for Kirk Cousins. So we'll check back on that next week. Should you have picked Kirk Cousins or that guy? In fact, anyone who's not got a QB this week, like Ben, that's it. Rivers or that guy.
Rivers or Delvin Hodge.
That's it. X or Delvin Hodge. We'll see how we go. Anyway, Sanders against Tennessee and Brandon Mann's the kicker, who both play for Denver. Both playing against very tough opposition in the Tennessee D. I think Sanders didn't play very well last week. I don't think he will this week either. Cooper against the Jets, fine. Woods against San Francisco, roulette. Jacobs is obviously on a bye, so who could he go to? And Mike Thomas against Jacksonville, I think he's probably matchup proof these days.
And if Ramsey's still out, that's absolutely not the formidable second.
Yeah, I maybe bring Sonny Michel in against the Giants.
If he looks before tomorrow night, if not, it'll probably be Tevin Coleman.
Yep, that's it. And it's not as great, but if I would be right now, I'd bring Sonny Michel in. I still think Burdett is going to win this because it's clear that the matchups from key players are better. I think that Ross has some players, such as Cooper, such as Thomas, and such as Ryan, who will go to town, and maybe perhaps the Ravens D. But I think that Ollie has got 4 or 5 that will go. He might not even need the guys who are banged up to perform.
Yeah, I think you're right there. He's got some really good guys in Jackson, Jones, I'd say those are the only 2 reliable ones. Fuller had that great game. It could be, it's DeAndre Hopkins' turn, or
it's 30 points or nothing again.
But
he only needs 60 yards and a touchdown to make it a viable week. So.
You look at Ross's team. It's a bit more spread because you could see Ryan, Thomas, Michelle, or Coleman, Woods, Cooper all having pretty good days. I think I do agree with you. I think it's probably more tight, perhaps, than you painted it as, but I would lean to the side of Bedetnes just because it's a more trustworthy side, despite the injury was.
100%.
So that's we're aligned on that one. Next game then, we have Gridiron Gang against the Tuckfards. Gridiron Gang take on the Tuckfards in the battle of the 1-4s Bowl. Gridiron Gang are 1-4, coming in off of a 2-game loss streak. Meanwhile, the Tuckfards are 4-1, winning their first game after they got their first loss. Projections currently have this as 90-81 in favour of the Tuckfards. Looking down the lineups, Gridiron Gang is now Brady or bust mode, but they have brought in DJ Moore to the starting lineup for Marcus Valdes-Scantling, and Auden Tate for a potentially concussed Brandon Cooks. On the other side of the ball, Tuckfards, I think they are... Oh no, they've brought in Adrian Peterson for Greg Olsen. So Gridiron Gang are going with 20 personnel currently, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. The Tuckfards are going with also 20 personnel, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. History of this matchup, Gridiron Gang are 6-8 all time against the Tuckfards.
Yes, and we look on both sides again, and I think we look in the same thing. We start with the QBs. Brady against the Giants, good matchup for him. Mahomes versus Houston, good matchup for him. Yeah. Will they cancel each other out? Probably not. I think Mahomes is going to score more points.
Probably.
And you never know what might happen on a Thursday night. It's just it's random stuff happens.
The problem with Brady is he's been getting benched.
Yes,
the Patriots have been winning so much.
Yeah, their D's so good. That's it. But there are other components to this which I quite like. So we look at a few other the Patriots again with James White. Will it be him? Will it be Michelle?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
So, confession, peek behind the curtain because it's my team on our podcast. My lineup is in flux. White might come out, Moore might come out, Tate might come out. I've got Brandon Cooks, who I can go. I might even play Lindsay. I should probably play him once this season.
Yeah.
I drafted him after all, and I don't know what to do with Smith-Schuster. But yeah, so it could change. But yeah, that is my lineup.
Okay. Well, I say that's not the end of the world. I think Freeman against Arizona's got the potential to be good. I think in one game it's going to be Hopkins against KC for the same reason. It's a damn shame.
He's got to be good at somewhere.
That's it.
If he's not, it wouldn't surprise me. That's a hilarious pick.
That really is.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They're going. They are going. They're not far enough, though.
It wouldn't surprise me at the end of the season to hear something about Hopkins was playing injured through, because he popped up on the injury report a few weeks ago with the rib thing, and that it's not been there, but I hope something's explaining this.
Yeah, well,
games he's having.
There has to be. Oh, Freddie Kitchen isn't very happy. Neither should he be, because that is grim.
Yeah,
we're going to watch this in real time. Baker throws it. It comes straight out of Antonio Callaway's hands.
Yeah.
And they pick
Pops it up.
Oh dear.
The waiting defender's arms.
I mean, I probably could have caught that. Could you have caught that?
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't have done that.
No, I'd have put it down. That's a bit stupid. Glad I was playing Antonio Callaway this week, because he's probably not going to play. I think Hopkins, if there's one game that's going to play and play well, it's got to be the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
Surely.
Sure.
DJ Moore against Tampa for the same reasons. I think that there's not too many outlets.
We just saw Michael Thomas, for what it's worth, torch the
absolutely
and Teddy Bridgewater. So why not Kyle Allen?
Yeah, I think Kyle's been playing okay.
Yeah,
I really do. I don't think they've played any better under Cam.
No, not the Cam we've had this season now.
And Auden Tate, there's not too many mouths to feed there anymore.
Baltimore's D isn't great either.
No. That's it. So you've got to give it a go.
Yeah.
But I do love the Cowboys against the Jets, because that could be hilariously bad.
Yeah, I was a bit upset when I heard Sam Darnold was activated, but as we all know, I had glandular fever last year, and I could not fucking imagine playing a football game about a month after having that.
Yeah.
I can't really imagine me playing one now. That's a year and a half there. So
it's pretty grim.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
But yeah, you look on the other side and you think to yourself, well, look, Phil's got Mahomes playing in what will probably be a shootout. You got Ingram playing against rubbish Cincinnati D. You got Keenan Allen playing against Pittsburgh. You'd think they'd be on the field a lot. Larry playing against rubbish Atlanta D. Landry playing against Seattle at home, and there's probably going to be, it's either going to go one of two ways. Either Baker's going to come out far, or he's going to get sacked loads of times.
Landry's actually been the better receiver in that offense.
Yeah,
he's not been great, but he's been.
It was because he was there for most of the preseason whilst Odell was on holiday or doing whatever he was doing. The one thing that I think bringing Peterson in for...
it's interesting, isn't it? It's the one game where he might actually be guaranteed.
He might, but this is also one game that Miami might be viable, because Washington have been awful.
Yeah. They're a mess, that time.
I'm going to put it out there. If I didn't pick up Pittsburgh's D this week, which I was quite happy with, then...
Oh, yeah.
I would have picked up Miami. I had it on.
I think you're right.
I had no dollars on Miami's D this week.
Look, the two franchises are in a very similar state of... They both suck.
Yeah.
But the difference being, Dolphins are sucking with a purpose, if that makes sense, because they've accumulated all these draft picks and they're going to get a lot of probably good players, whereas the Redskins, they're actually trying and they're just that bad.
Yeah, well, that's it. Couldn't happen to a nicer franchise either. So, there you go. And, that's all I should say about that, because, the owner's got a bit of a habit for going around and suing people, so, yeah. So anyway, Dan Snyder, not the number one owner in the league. Patriots against the Giants as well. I think it's obviously got potential for a bit of a feast. But I think the Cowboys has got more potential. So funnily enough, this week, yes, the Patriots are the number one defense in the NFL, real NFL. They're number one in fantasy as well. But I'd be interested to see if they can continue doing this. And strange things happen on Thursday nights, as you say. So, but I will say this, that the Tuck Files, I think, probably do have it. They didn't show it last week, but I think they've got enough players in the right matchups to be viable this week. Your team will do better, hopefully. It's got to do better. But I think we'll just come just short. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think this is one of the classic ironic cases where, had I played Phil either of the last 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure I certainly would have beaten him last week. I think I might have beaten him the week before as well. So naturally that means Tuck Fudds is going to have a get right game this game and absolutely wipe the floor with me. Such has been the case with my season, which leads me to, I'm sticking a fork in my team right now. Oh, bold, he's gone.
I don't care that I'm 1-4 and we've got 8. I was just looking at my team the other day and it's become Brady or bust, which was obviously a strategy of mine a few years ago. That was not the desired strategy this year, of course, taking him in the 10th round. But I just went through my picks. You can go through one by one. Hopkins, first overall pick. just has not lived up to expectations. I already mentioned it wouldn't surprise me about the injuries. Juju Smith-Schuster, completely no fault of my own. He's on probably his third quarterback of the season now. Devontae Freeman, he's had a slow start, fair enough. Banking a bit on a rebound, but their D's been appalling. Their O-line's been appalling.
Yep.
Okay, Smith, which no one really saw coming, eating into his workload. Fair enough, I can take that. Brandon Cooks, like you say, it's just LA Rams roulette. Now he has a concussion. Philip Lindsay, didn't really want to take him in the first place, but I wanted to take the best available. Kind of is what I'd expected, but he's never going to be a guy you feel good playing, just because of the split committee, though he has had a couple of good games. Who was my sixth pick? DJ Moore. Again, another lost quarterback. Carlin's been okay, but it's mainly been McCaffrey, and he's not going to elevate the games of guys around him. My 7th round pick isn't on the team anymore, Jared Goff. 8th round pick, Devin Singletary, he's been on the medical bench. And 9th round pick, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, has had one good game as well. So you get to 10 picks before you get to a good player on my team. It's just some teams we've seen have had a perfect combination of great. Some teams get the other end of that. That's my team. Like you say, perhaps my team can have a good week. Phil's team hasn't been great. Perhaps I can get an upset, but every logical thing tells you to go for the Tugfield. So that we shall do. Next game then, Iksan against Pakistan. What one are we on? This one. Iksan take on Pakistan in this week's 6 matchup. Division leading Iksan at 3-2 take on division dwellers Pakistan at 1-4. However, the projections are in favour of Pakistan, 92-90. Looking down the lineups, Iksan, they have brought Cortland Sutton and Tyler Boyd in, I believe, for John Brown and Todd Gurley. Wow, he benched Gurley. Calvin Ridley may be coming to the lineup too for George Kittle or something. Hey ho. On the other side of the ball, Pakistan, Gardner Minshew comes into the starting lineup for Jacoby Brissett. Tyreek Hill, I think he's going to play this week, but that might be a bit optimistic at this stage. Comes in for Jordan Howard. Devontae Adams again might play, but he's coming off that turf toe. It's a tough injury for receivers. Terry McLaurin comes in as well. I don't think he was in the lineup last week. And Michael Gallup comes in also. So Pakistan are going with 10 personnel this week. 1 running back, 4 receivers. Meanwhile, Iksan are going with 20 personnel, 2 running backs, 3 receivers. History of this matchup, Iksan are 3-3 all time against Pakistan.
Well, now I think that Ben has gone a little bold, possibly, benching Gurley.
Yeah.
Especially for,
didn't George Kittle have a good game last week as well?
That's it, yeah, I know. And you think that the one game that he might do well in is the California Classic,
The California Classic.
Because it is. That's it. It's just the game. You bring in guys like Calvin Ridley, you're taking a massive punt on the fact.
Yeah, did he... Because he's had a rough couple of weeks. I don't know. Last week was a bit better, but you can see there, it's not a greatly high ceiling and a possibly low floor.
This is it. Yeah,
same for Cortland Sutton.
Same for Cortland Sutton, yes. Against Tennessee as well, which, Tennessee haven't been great anywhere, but the one good thing they've been is defense. So they can play that. They got a defensive head coach. They know
2 great corners in Logan Ryan and Malcolm Butler.
Absolutely. So you go and you see Cortland Sutton. Yes, last week he did play reasonably well. I did have a big run and touchdown, but I just don't think there that especially when you've still got Derrick Henry in there, who is also quite streaky. He's getting plenty of volume, granted.
I think he has been quite good. I agree, he is streaky. No games under 10 points this year, but apart from one game, touchdown every game.
That's right, touchdown every game. That's the point. Is that without that, that's a bit of a problem. I think Panthers against Tampa is dodgy, especially the way that that Tampa are right now. I think Dalvin Cook against Philly's great, and I think Rivers against Pittsburgh, with the way that Rivers is right now, I think that's a bit iffy too. So
Pittsburgh's D is actually okay.
Yeah, they've held up relatively well. So for me, I think that Ben's on a bit of precarious ground there, if you're asking me.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, Pat's really in the last chance saloon, but if Devontae Adams comes back, that's massive for him. Tyreek Hill comes back, that's massive for him. McLaurin, if there's one game to play him in, it's possibly that one. But
I struggle because unless Keenum starts, I don't think you're going to get competent enough quarterback play for him. He wasn't getting great quarterback play with Keenum, but at least he was getting him the ball.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
No, but at the same time, it was saying before, is Washington's offense as bad as Miami's defense? We shall see. Gallup against the Jets, I think is going to be great. I think that Le'Veon Bell against Dallas isn't going to be great because I think they're going to be behind very early.
The blueprint for the New York Jets offense at the moment is shut down Le'Veon Bell.
That's right.
Forget about the rest.
Exactly that's what I said. And
it's not going to matter.
You can see why.
Okay, Darnold's back, but he's post-viral.
Does it matter? Does it matter against a Dallas team that can absolutely blow you away potentially? They've got every component to do that.
Quit signing.
It's been an hour.
Start my computer.
Oh no.
Oh, what's going on?
Never mind. Titans against Denver could work, but say Denver haven't been that bad.
No, I said this to. Like I said, me and Tom were looking at this. Every fantasy analyst out there was like, "Oh, you got to target the Denver offense.
Yeah.
You go through it." No, you don't.
No.
They're not particularly stingy with the ball, and they score some points and get some yards.
Flacco's turned them into what Baltimore have been for the last 4 seasons. So they've been a solid, consistent team that have got fairly decent. They've got decent receivers. They've got 2 decent backs. They've got a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl.
And still a very good defense.
And still a very good defense. Yeah, exactly that. So they're going to be there or thereabouts. In fact, I would say that the Titans and the Broncos are. I wouldn't say a similar standing, but they're a similar sort of team where they're going to win via their defense, not necessarily their offense.
Yeah.
And possibly that's what we're going to see here. For me, I think Ixan have probably have got the personnel to do it. They've got to put the right ones on the board. Pakistan have got to have their big players turn up.
Certainly, yeah.
And Gallup and the D. I see this being a fairly tight affair. It's quite difficult to take a winner. I think on form you've got to go with Ixan, but Pakistan could potentially do it. But I think Ixan have probably got just about enough to get them across the board if they pick the right players.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I had a caveat game last week, and this is going to be a caveat game for me too. I think you're right. Pakistan, I'm going to pick them to win.
Oh, huge.
On the assumption Hill and Adams both play. Maybe if he benches McLaurin for someone like. He doesn't really have a lot of options. Maybe not, but I'd still pick him. I love the stream of Minshew as well. It's bittersweet that Ixan started Minshew against me, and that obviously was a big reason why he won against me, and it would be very, very ironic if that was the same for Pat. And yeah, like you say, on Ben's side of the ball, there's quite a few risky decisions there. It might not matter even, like you say, because Pat team's been struggling. And again, I'm going to add my caveat. If he puts, say, Gurley back in, maybe Kittle as well, I'd probably swing just on the balance of form, like you said, to Ixan. So there you go. We didn't really pick the game.
No,
but
it's very difficult.
You can see why, so it's okay. Next game then. Wow, we need to come up with a bowl name for this game for sure. The Race Centre Bowl.
The Race Centre Bowl is probably quite a good one.
The Race Centre Bowl.
Yeah, I'm all in on that.
Okay, there we go. Up next then, Forge Flies versus Bucking the Trend. Forge Flies are bucking the trend face off in the Race Centre Bowl, and it profiles to be a tight photo finish because the projections for this are 86.36 to 85.83. Both teams coming in off of a loss, however. Looking down the lineups, Forge Flies, Carlos Hyde comes into the lineup for T.Y. Hilton, he's on a bye. And Austin Hooper comes into the lineup for Marlon Mack, who is also on a bye. Your defense is also currently on a bye, Chris.
Oh, yes.
But the Steelers will be going in. So actually the projections are...
In fact, do you want me to do that now? And I'll refresh it.
Go for it. On the other side of the ball, bucking the trend, Kirk Cousins comes in, as we've already discussed, for his quarterback. Melvin Gordon, obviously there another week. Mohamed Sanu's come into the starting lineup for Philip Dossett, who is injured with a hamstring. And other than that, unchanged. So, Chris, you are featuring 22 personnel this week. 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and a receiver. Meanwhile, Mike is fielding 10 personnel, 1 running back, and 4 receivers.
And you can refresh them.
And here we go, refreshing. Boom. Oh, that's definitely not the game we were looking at. There we go.
That is.
93-85 in favour of the Buckingham trend.
That's it. So I've sort of ruined your preamble there.
That's
That
okay.
finish bit was
It's
quite
fine.
good. I like that. Okay, so let's start with Mike's team. And Mike's team does need a massive improvement on what we've been seeing the last few weeks. I think the key thing here is the relationship between Cousins and Thielen. I think that is a potential game winning
Yeah.
combination there. But I don't think Gordon is going to do a great deal. I think Kamara against Jacksonville is
It's okay.
It's okay, but it's nothing special, as you say. Sanu against Arizona is nothing. Metcalf is streak against Cleveland in Cleveland.
I think this is the easiest preview we've
That's
had
it.
on here.
I think so.
To be honest.
Saints versus Jags.
Sorry,
Is, yeah. You see where I'm going with this here is that I think that will be the foundation if there's going to be one of a win. On the other side, you've got good matchups for Prescott, Hyde, McCaffrey's matchup proof. Evans is playing in London, so it can be anything. Hooper's playing against Arizona, so he'll score.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
The Steelers are playing in Los Angeles, but their defense has been held up.
Do you change
It's held up well.
Is there another option? Or
I could have picked. I would pick up the Miami Dolphins D. Honestly, I genuinely would play.
I'm
them
just
this
wondering
week.
if you'll reconsider it or if
I paid
$7
$7 for him, but I might.
Yeah,
I
okay.
might. Depends on what's waived.
Okay.
I might. I will say this: that the Chargers haven't looked nearly as threatening.
No.
I saw them play the first week. Well, it's actually the second weekend I was in the US. They were playing against Buffalo. No, were they? No, they were playing against someone. They were playing against someone who was not particularly good.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Let's have a look. Who were the Chargers? Who were the Chargers playing?
We need a Chargers player actually. To be honest.
Can I just click on LA Chargers? No. Dog.
Someone on this team must.
He's got bloody Melvin Gordon.
There we go. See, I knew that was a Chargers.
Right, who are they playing? They were playing against
Miami.
That's who they were playing against. They were playing against Miami, and Miami looked competent.
Yeah,
against
you know
them
what?
for
Actually,
half.
Miami probably played the best against the Chargers than they have against any other team.
They played against them for a half, and they looked competent. So, yeah, I think the Steelers will also look fairly competent. And I think that they may well be on the field for a lot of these. But there's potential there. It's not like Philip Rivers has been in massively good form in terms of what he's picking, and he can't avoid the sack anymore. So, I think that I have the team with a better matchup, better form potentially. And we've seen over the last couple of weeks that I can score over 90 points regularly. Ha ha ha. That was
nearly hilarious.
That was nearly hilarious. Bit.
Yeah.
I would love to see Mike.
Yeah.
Pick up a win here because I think that he's, despite the fact that he's scored low for weeks and weeks and weeks, been fairly unlucky with some of the people he's been playing against. But I just don't think he's going to get unlucky this week.
No. Yeah, I will say he's probably caught you on a good week.
Yes.
Because you are without Hilton and Mack, of course.
Yep.
And, fielding two tight ends, I agree. Arizona is almost a slam dunk for Hooper to get a good amount of points, but you can never really know with Titans sometimes. Mike Evans as well got frozen out last week, and he had that one big touchdown against the Rams in the blow-up game.
It was more to do with the fact that he was playing Marshawn Lattimore last week. And I think that's the thing. Like he's
playing James Bradbury this week.
I know. But he's playing in London. It's different.
Sure. And then Carlos Hyde as well. God knows what we're going to get from Carlos Hyde.
No one knows what's happening.
But like you say, Gordon, we've still not seen him be the Melvin Gordon that Mike likely drafted him to be. Thielen can disappear. Cousins can obviously easily disappear. Too many players on Mike's team could just disappear at the drop of a hat.
Philadelphia have got, we say that they've not been great this year, but their defense can definitely turn up.
Yeah, sure. So we're both
saw last week, as Oliver Debt will tell us.
Indeed. Now we have our final game of this week. Then a lot of points this week against the Dream Team. 2, 2, and 3 teams facing off. One's coming in on the 2-game win streak. That's the Dream Team. Meanwhile, a lot of points this week is coming in on a 2-game losing streak. Though they are projected for a lot of points this week because they are projected to win 92-79. Looking down the lineups, Ollie Gardner's side. Kenny Golladay, has he come back into the lineup perhaps?
He does.
I think he has. for, I'm not sure who, Evan Ingram maybe. On the other side, Viv's team isn't changed at the moment. He's got Frank Gore on a bye, so he'll probably put in someone like Kerryon Johnson, almost certainly. So this game's probably actually more like a tie when that happens. So Ollie Gardner is fielding a 10 personnel this week, 1 running back, 4 receivers. Meanwhile, Viv will be fielding 31 personnel. They love the 31 personnel. 3 running backs, a tight end, and a receiver. History of this matchup: the Dream Team are 2-2 all time against Cash for Gold.
Simple for me this week. I think a lot of points this week. We'll score a lot of points this week. Yeah, I mean, we look at what we're doing here. I think Russell Wilson at the moment is in irresistible form. Irresistible form. He's carrying that team. Cooper Kupp. He's definitely Goff's number one target. I think Julio against Arizona is a great matchup. I think Beckham has got to break out somewhere. That's it. I think bringing Kenny Golladay in doesn't hurt. No. Playing the Vikings D is always fun. I think they've always got potential to make a play of some description. On the other side, I think that playing the Vikings D against Wentz is the thing that kills you, because for every pick that Wentz makes, you lose, but then also Ollie gains as well. And I think that this week you've got the potential to make a few more than you would do normally. Yeah. Mixing against Baltimore's not great. It's for the same reason as we just alluded to. There's a lot of players in the Minnesota Eagles game. It's unbelievable. There's Diggs there as well. Cousins has been patchy, and I don't see Diggs really picking that out from anywhere. No. Elliott against the Jets is to be fair a pretty good one.
The thing we've seen with Elliott though is they've brought Tony Pollard in a fair bit, and Elliott's not been amazing.
He hasn't yet. He hasn't yet, but he has been the featured guy. I think Tony Pollard is a non-factor in this. He has been there, but not enough to.
Oh, I'm just thinking from the view that we saw it when they played Miami, that they got up so big. They
don't need to.
Pollard in to finish the game.
Yeah.
They played quite a lot in that game. Yeah. Both went for 100 yards, though.
Yeah. And that could potentially be it. But I think if you're going to pick one or the other, I mean, you know who you're going to pick to start with, and you're certainly going to start the game.
Oh yeah, I'm not making the guess. I'm just saying that Elliott's ceiling, I think it's lower than that.
It could be capped. Yeah, that's right. And I think you might be right, but not before he starts, creating quite a high ceiling. He's a Georgian house. And the Browns against Seattle, well, for the same reason as we said on the other side. In fact, this is quite rare. That's it. Both the D's are playing each other's quarterbacks. Yeah, that is rare.
That's a rare sight indeed.
We don't see it very often. No. So, the one thing I will say about the Browns D is that Russell Wilson, for all of the good that he does get sacked a fair bit. So, but he does run away a lot.
And that Browns unit just they've been banged up to high hell. They've just not been that good, really.
So I see this really being an Ollie Gardner win here. I don't think Viv's team is underwhelming as it is, and let alone without some of its major components.
I think you're right.
A lot of points this week. I'm backing you to score exactly that.
Yeah, I think you're right. If you said on paper which of these two teams is coming off of a 2-game win streak, you would never, 100 times out of 100 pick the Dream Team.
Nope.
Sorry, Viv, but compare Ollie's team. I mean, he scored 115 last week, but just got 170 dropped on him. I'm not sure what he did the week before, but it's a good lineup. So Ollie Gardner for me too. And that is the podcast. Keep Haulin. Oh, you're probably wondering why the show is called Keep Haulin. I didn't even mention. I went and saw Fisherman's Friends yesterday, so YouTube the song and you'll get the reference.
You get it well. We thought it was quite cool.
It was going to be something else, which would have been much more topical, but Chris vetoed that.
Yeah.
Which is Chris's direction as the co-host, so I'm okay with that. So, thank you for watching and listening to the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If I might be back at a decent time this week, if you'd like to come over and watch the games. If you're around, up to you. Otherwise, have a good rest of your week. Best of luck in fantasy, unless you're playing me, of course. Take care and goodbye.